Back.
And we're live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh Fit Podcast, regular edition. We're here with three special guests, man. Mike Sartain, Wes Watson, and Rolo Tomasi. Today we're going to be talking about a couple different things, including getting your mindset on point because, you know, we haven't had a Money Monday in a bit. So we got three guys in the house that know a little bit about, you know, getting your mindset to make some money. But before we get into that, rumble.com/freshfit. Check us out over there, guys. Also, castleclub.tv. Guys, we're going to be posting a lot more content on castleclub.tv. Matter of fact, we're going to have a Q&A that's Castle Club exclusive at the end of this podcast. So go ahead and get in there right now. Castleclub.tv is the website. Go ahead and get in there, and we're going to go ahead and give you guys a Zoom link in there to join in and ask some questions and be able to get some, get your questions answered from three very successful individuals, whether it's mindset with women, making money, running social circle game, whatever it is.
And we're doing a giveaway on Castle Club, $1,000 to two winners. So we're going to break it down, 500 each, two winners in Castle Club. So if you're on there, tap into that, join the call. We got you guys, 100%.
Yeah, guys, we're going to be posting a lot more on there, and it's going to get to a point where we're probably going to start putting a good amount of our content back there as well, guys. I mean, if you guys want us to stay independent, stay free, not have to worry about censorship and everything else that's going on, because you guys already know censorship is real, especially in an election year. Some of the cons are going to be moving over to Castle Club, but we're going to give you guys a good amount of time, and we're going to give you guys discounts and everything else like that, so everyone can go ahead and join in.
And last but not least, our sponsor, Coffee Time 7075.
Yeah.
Guys, you know what? I like my coffee black. No pun intended. How do you like your coffee, brother?
I like my coffee black, like I like my metal.
How do you like your coffee?
I mean, I've been drinking black coffee since the penitentiary, strolling the track with that Folgers black.
I like my coffee like I like my women, with a spoon in them.
There you go. Fantastic. Get the coffee, man. Link down below. 7775. But guys, without further ado, give us your intro. Who you are.
Rolo Tomasi, author of The Rational Male and the 5-book series, Rational Male. Also co-host of Access Vegas with Mr. Sartain. Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody knows Wes motherfucking Watson. I mean, I built my YouTube channel fresh out of the penitentiary. Yeah, 500,000 subs. But what's more important than that, how many people I've helped by just not being a soft-ass bitch like half the people in the comments who swear the fuck they could ever fuck with a motherfucker in person because they're badass keyboard warriors.
Already started.
Let's go.
All right. Let's keep it on YouTube still.
Hey, I'm Michael Sartain, and I haven't shaved my arms yet. I'm working on that. I'm going to do that here in a little bit.
I haven't cut my hair yet either, so
I'm a former U.S. Air Force captain. Did counterintelligence for a while. Flew KC-135 as a navigator. And I have a very, very offensive evolutionary psychology podcast, along with a male performance coaching program.
Offensive. We love that word.
Yes.
And today we're going to discuss developing a winner's mindset. So I believe the guests here are well capable of giving that advice. And Wes, I'll let you lead off with that point.
I mean, I started at the lowest of the low, and that's what motherfuckers need to realize. Who are you on your worst day? Who the fuck are you when shit's not going your way? There's so many cupcakes out here that don't realize their life is so comfortable, so fucking easy, that they're whining about not getting their way. They're not facing true adversity. So in the penitentiary, you have real adversity. Some people out there in America or around the world right now are actually facing problems. But most of these motherfuckers are really just not getting their way. They're crying about not getting their way. And that's the biggest fucking crock of shit ever, because when you get your way, you start to get weak. And my whole thing is, I've lived a life purposely from penitentiary till I exited to the street that was based off of hard daily tasks that I didn't want to do, so that every day I made myself proud. Everything I do each day is very difficult. I wake up at 2:45, I'm at the gym by 4 a.m., I eat a certain way, and I mean, I stay away from the drugs and alcohol and the vices. So, I mean, these are all the things that'll break you. And if anybody's listening, if you want to start somewhere, drop the drugs, drop the alcohol, and realize that's where you start. That's where everything begins. And then you start to really listen to your conscience and go within and say, like, what needs to change in me? Everybody thinks they're so fucking intelligent, but the true sign of intelligence is a man's ability to change and stay that way.
Well said.
No, I have a question. You told me once in prison you read Marcus Aurelius. I think a lot of people have a misunderstanding what Stoicism is. Can you express how you use it?
I mean, I literally just stayed so disciplined. Who the fuck's gonna come out of prison like not even live this life that everyone's living out here, and make as much money as I did and rise to where I'm at today and still never break. I made a commitment to myself, and the commitment was deeper than anything. So what everyone really like worries about how I react and I speak. What about in the morning when you don't get up and your bitch ass lays back down? What about all you pussies who literally think you're gonna kill it in the gym and you quit after 2 months? What about everybody who starts a business and doesn't follow through on their business plan? The whole thing is like, I don't give a fuck about how I feel. I get it done anyways. So being stoic means you don't care about your feelings. You'll get the work done anyways. And I mean, it's the easiest way to measure who someone is. When it comes down to it, the work that needs to be done, do they get it done or not?
Well said. Roland?
I always read these kind of, I always call them self-help. What's the guy that wrote Unscripted? I forget the guy's
Did Marco?
Was it? Yeah, Mark. So I'll read stuff like that, or I'll read these guys who like they'll say, okay, I've got like 12 tips for to live a better life. Right? Was it Unscripted? You know, like how to go from like nothing to everything. And usually it starts off with sort of this Batman origin stories, like, you know, I was born a poor black child in the inner city, and suddenly, you know, if I can do it, you can do it too. I don't have that story, okay? And I think that that's probably a little bit more realistic place to start right now. I'm not saying that, you know, not to take anything away from guys who like have actually had to overcome adversity, but I think a vast majority of guys they're just regular dudes, right? They grew up in suburban, you know, America or something like that. But those guys are the ones who are sedating themselves. Those are the guys who are still kind of half asleep, right? Yeah. And it took me a while to sort of like sort that out for myself, because like I mean I had just a pretty average life. I didn't have like some sort of, you know, I didn't go to prison. I didn't go, you know, I was never in any kind of like real trouble in my life, but it was just sort of coming out of the doldrums, right? It's like it's coming out of that sedation. And I've said on this show several times, it's like, the first place you want to start, if you want to meet all these self-help things, if you want to learn like get all this sort of positivity mojo thing going on for yourself, the best thing you can do is stop sedating yourself. And that's the number one problem I think I see with like most like young guys, especially the latter half of the millennials and like most of Gen Z right now, is they sedate themselves with pornography, they sedate themselves with alcohol, with prescription opioids. You just weed. I mean, with the moment weed became like, you know, legal in states and everything, it's like the productivity and everybody just sort of like is listless and lazy and they don't want to do anything. And like Wes here, it's like, I don't drink. I used to work in wine and spirits. Before I became Rollo Tomasi, that's all I did. I was working in the liquor business for a long time. And I've seen guys go from like being very productive people to being very like just listless, lazy, and just, you know, go downhill. And it was right around the time I was writing my fourth book, Religion. I said, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking until I finish this book. And because I was more productive as a writer. I was more, I never had a DUI. I never had any problem with it. It's just that I wanted to be more productive, and I couldn't do that if I was like, you know, drinking on a Friday and then recovering on a Saturday and then, you know, trying to pick myself up on Sunday again. It was just not pragmatic to do it anymore. It was just made sense not to do shit like that. And that's what taught me like leaving these sedations and leaving, like, if your online life is, you know, your escape life, whether it's video games or whatever it is, if your escape, living that escape life is better than your shitty life, you got a problem. That's when you have to sort of make a decision whether you want to live in the real world or you want to live in this sedation world. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to stop drinking until I'm done with this book. And then 3 years later, because it took me a long time to write the book, I thought, okay, well, I'll just, you know, then I'll celebrate with a drink or something like that. And I got to 3 years, I'm like, I don't want to. I just simply don't want to do it anymore.
So you mentioned vices that we all have as men. You mentioned the P word, you mentioned drinking, weed. And that's just maybe that's just issue all the time, because we're here in the world, things are going to happen. How do you deal with vices growing up as a man? How do you get over vices?
I think the first thing is recognizing that you have them and recognizing that they're a problem. And there's a concept that I learned from Robert Greene, the author of 48 Laws of Power, right? This isn't any of his books. It's like from his interviews. And Robert Greene has this concept called live time and dead time. Okay, so if you're in your car commuting to work, that's dead time. If you are giving your time to an employer, that's dead time, because you're not doing anything to grow. You're not doing anything to progress. It's a concept, really, I think he mentions it a little bit in Mastery, in his book Mastery. And so what you need to do is you need to start looking at the times where you have the time that you can take that is live time, meaning it's all you. and you can do whatever you want to with it. Now, most people, they'll go play video games. They'll go smoke weed. They'll want to relax. They want to just get away from all the responsibilities that they have to do, relax, leisure time, and then get back to work afterwards. And that's what the vast majority of people do. But that live time, that is the time that you have that can be the most productive, that's where you need to like hunker down, and that's where you need to focus on right there. So when you're in your live time, you're building something. You're building a brand. You're building I don't care what it is. If you're an ideas guy, work on that idea. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're an entrepreneur, that live time, once you start investing in that live time will help you get out of the dead time that you're in right now, and that will help you transition out of being like sort of this 9-to-5 wage slave into somebody that can actually like focus on a brand and has time for themselves, so that they can develop that into something greater than what they were before, and then escape from that shitty life that they have into something better.
All right.
I mean, there's just so much wrong with Robert Greene. Have you seen that fucking creep?
It's because he's had a stroke. That's why.
Yeah, but
The dude has had a stroke.
But can you really make a thing about seducing women while having a picture like that on the? Pull up the seducing women.
He's only got one book that's called The Art of Seduction. But everything else is not.
It doesn't even matter. I don't get. But I'm just saying, like, when someone writes a book, I turn it around and say, do I want to be like this motherfucker? And like, there is no way half the authors that people speak about I even want to be remotely like. So that was a big reason why I had to write a fucking book. And I probably sold more copies than some of these motherfuckers. Not Robert Greene though. But I'm just saying, I didn't read his book in prison. Robert Greene's book in prison is actually contraband.
Yeah.
You can't get 48 Laws of Power in prison. But the thing is, I think it's massively manipulative. I didn't manipulate anyone in prison. I inspired people to change. And I love when people disagree with me, because I did more than them already in 6 years, so they could suck my fucking dick. But I mean, the whole thing is like, the point is I need results. If I'm gonna follow a man, I need results. And why are so many of these people opting out of having a true result and saying it's because they didn't want it? You fucking liar. That's like half these people who talk shit on hot chicks in the comments and say, I don't like BBLs and fake tits. I like a natural girl. Yeah, your chick's real natural, and she's just sitting there all, and you're like, yeah, there's your chick, homie. Chick's all natural next to her. And it's just, all this shit's crazy. Like, when everyone quits lying, they'll get somewhere. The only people I can really work with and be around are people who are not liars. They're like, I could be in better shape. I could be richer. I could be smarter with my financial decisions. I could be a little more calm, but I don't like that. I'm where I'm at because I've never had a job. I sold drugs my whole life. I went to prison and I came out, and like I say, I ran shit in prison. I ran shit on the streets. These other I ran shit on the streets. I run shit everywhere I go. Before prison, I was a millionaire. In prison, I had more money than most of these motherfuckers. And out of prison, I'm murdering everybody in 6 years. They're not even close to me. I just parked $10 million worth of cars down the street and left them there with my 2 security guards just watching my damn cars. My day costs more than most of these people in the comments have in their bank accounts. But I mean, this is the whole thing. I don't care. When you get to my level of not caring, you won. Everybody said everything about me. They talked all this shit. They try to do this. And the thing they will never do is break me. And that's what my boy Jado said the other day. He said it was in the book Conversations with God. And it said, someone asked him, someone asked someone else, when's the next man coming that's going to save us and speak for us? And God said, he's not. And he said, why not? He said, he fears the criticism. So everybody's afraid of really telling the truth. They're really afraid of coming out with what they know in their heart's true. And everybody knows in their heart that dudes should not have tits.
Oh no!
Man, we're already there.
I want to say this real
Dudes
quick.
should not have titties. It's just a thing. But I mean, hey, Michael, get them.
So just going back, the first question when we talked about Stoicism, and then the second question when we talk about diversions, right? The sedations. The thing happens is, like, the further we get away from a survival scenario where we were surviving as humans, like say 50,000 years ago, there was no time for porn, there was no time for fucking around, there was no time, any of this stuff, there's no time for video games. Everything was about survival. Everything aided you in survival. And the human brain was built for that, because the majority of our existence was a very, very rough, brutal existence up until about 8,000 years ago. And so now we're not evolved for it. So now all of a sudden we have violent men, violent, industrious men have constructed huge cities, and we've chiseled out these little safe areas where we can go on YouTube and talk shit. Like, seriously, like this would, what part of the, do you remember that video where Mike Tyson is beating the shit out of some dude on an airplane? I guarantee you that guy has made comments on YouTube and just forgot that in real life people hit you back, because the human brain was not made to write things and then not face people. You remember we had Marquette on, and Marquette was like, do you want to know why men are respectful to each other? Because we can go nuke on each other with mutually assured destruction. And so you lose that part of your brain, and then the other part is like, you are rewarded for accomplishing goals, and you have to accomplish those goals because you have a wife and a family to take care of, and because you have a job you have to do. If you work in, let's say, law enforcement, construction, whatever, if you're sick, your wife leaves you, you still have to go to work. So we as men have a burden of performance, and we have to do that thing even if we don't fucking feel like it, which is Stoicism, which is why I asked the question before, is the idea that even when it sucks, we still have to do that thing, because the alternative that we have is to be weak and slow and dumb, which is something that we're afforded now because we live in a softer society than our ancestors did.
Well said.
Going to the Stoicism thing, I agree with Wes's interpretation of it. It's Stoicism is more along the lines of doing things when you don't feel like doing it, right? And having that masculine discipline to get it done regardless of how you feel. But for some odd reason, like, you know, YouTubers in the content creation world, like, oh, you got to practice Stoicism, Myron. You need to, like, be less ranty and all this other shit. And in my head, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Because if I did, you'd be bored. You wouldn't watch. You'd be like, oh, this is not entertaining, etc.
That's true.
Like, the one thing I've learned about coaching men is you got to inspire them. And you're not going to inspire them by talking monotone like this. And I think you need to go to the gym and exercise and eat well, because if you don't, you're probably going to be fat.
So, Myron, here's the difference. When you're passionate about, because I've seen you before get excited about improving men's lives, and we've had guys come on here, they've called me, they've called him, they've called you about not taking their own life. When you passionately respond to that, that's still stoic, because you're motivated about accomplishing a goal. Like, again, when you express yourself in the gym by lifting more weight, you can still be have energy towards accomplishing a goal. It's that you're not affected.
The reason I'm a good coach and I help people is because if someone says that they're suicidal, or they're going to take their own life, or if someone, I tell people in my group all the time, if you died in front of me, I'd step on the back of your fucking head and walk over you into the gym and handle the rest of my fucking day. And that's the thing. Everyone's so fucking weak. They give a shit. Like, I don't remember that there was anything in my life that made me opt out of the work I had to do. It wouldn't matter if anyone in this room dropped dead. If I died, I want you guys to kill it tomorrow and not take 1 second out of your day. Okay. And that's the thing. I don't even want anybody to really be fazed by what we think is the worst thing. People cry about their problems. Okay, who died? Who got life in prison? And even if those happen, who gives a fuck? Keep it going. Like, nobody's really ever lost that much. And the thing is like, they just think they're losing because, like I said before, they haven't gained. And I have everything that someone would want. And in all reality, I'll still never opt out of the work because I know the work instills the worth. I won't have worth in these 24 hours if I don't put in the work I need to do in these 24 hours. Being in prison and shit gives you the mindset of just getting through today perfectly, getting through the next day perfectly. When you string together 7 perfect days, you have a perfect week. When you string together perfect weeks and perfect months, you have a perfect year. When you do that for 6 years, you beat everybody around you. They're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I just did the same day every day. I never took back steps, and you did. And that's the thing. It's like, it's very simple. Everything we have to do is very simple, but everybody lacks personal development so much they can't do the simple plan every day. And they think it's something so complex. I'm like, bro, if you saw how I run my business, you would laugh at how simple it is, and you guys will overcomplicate it. Top people have to come to me to show them what they're doing wrong because they learn from business guys. And business guys made it such a fucking problem. And I'm like, it's a personal brand. It's not a business. You have to run it differently. And they're just like, what? They don't understand it. And I pull away so much unneeded bullshit in their business, and they're actually profiting again. But I mean, fuck, bro. Everybody's got so much advice to give and so little results, and that's the problem with the internet and the world. So if anyone comes up to you and they're not living the life you want, just tell them to shut the fuck up and get away. And there's not one person that will ever come up to me in person, face to face, and I will not tell them the truth. That is what I think all men should start doing, and women, so they don't feel so used, so walked over, so fucking resentful towards people that fucking wrong them. Like, call them on it. Don't hold that shit in, you know?
And I was also going to say, too, just to finish my thought, like, you know, they say, oh, practice stoicism, blah, blah, blah. There's a reason why when you're in the military and you're training for war, and you can speak to this, Mike, they're not sitting there saying, oh, well, you know, you should do some push-ups and we're going to go run for a few miles and we're going to come back. No, it's, hey, you fucking maggot, drop down and give me 50, etc. Why? Because men respond favorably a lot of the times to being yelled at and ridiculed, because it makes you urgency, and then also the need to compete, right? So like with men, you have to be brutally honest with them. And another thing too I've noticed with men versus women when you give criticism, like with men, if the criticism is coming from a valid source who is better than them or emulates something that person wants, they look like something like that person wants to emulate, just like Wes was saying, I want to be able to look at this person and be able to respect them, etc. They will go and respond favorably to that, because it's one or two things. They say you could be either like the losers that I was on the Jubilee podcast with, where they'll say, well, you know, shame doesn't work, and, you know, just tell me nicely. You could be a pussy and be a loser, be in that fucking camp.
That was so hard to watch.
You can respond favorably to it, be like, you know what? You're fucking right. I am a fat piece of shit and I need to lose weight and get my life together. And then the winners are going to rise, and then the losers are going to stay losers, and that's fine. We need winners and losers.